You know, I still remember that day like it was yesterday standing there at Gate D9 in San Francisco International. The hum of the airport buzzing around me like some chaotic symphony, families dragging kids, business folks glued to their phones, and me, Lena Harper, just trying to board a flight I'd paid good money for. I'd splurged on that first-class seat, 1B, not because I was feeling fancy, but because after years of grinding through audits and red tape, I needed that quiet space to recharge before diving into back-to-back meetings that could make or break federal contracts. But when I handed my boarding pass to the gate agent, Sarah Klein, her name tag gleaming under those harsh lights, she barely looked up, just flicked her eyes over me. This quick up-and-down scan like she was sizing up whether I fit the first-class vibe. And in that split second, I felt it. That invisible wall people like me hit way too often. The one built from assumptions and old prejudices that whisper, "You don't belong here." Sarah's lips thinned out, and she tapped away at her keyboard with this exaggerated force, like she was punishing the keys for my existence. Then she slides over a new boarding pass economy, row 32, and says, flat as day, "Operational needs, ma'am. You've been reassigned. Please step to the general boarding line." I stood there, my hand still on my carry-on, feeling that familiar knot in my stomach, the one that's part anger, part exhaustion from a lifetime of these micro-battles. But I didn't yell or cause a scene. I'd learned long ago that raising your voice just gives them ammunition. Instead, I held up my original pass, clear as crystal under the fluorescence, and said calmly, "This is the seat I purchased. I'll wait until it's honored." She freezes, her fake smile cracking just a bit, and mutters, "Economy boards at Group 7. Step aside." But I didn't budge, and that's when the air shifted, people around us starting to notice. A guy in a polo shirt pretending to check his phone, but really tilting it to record, a young couple whispering. Did she just get bumped for no reason? It escalated quick. Sarah calls over her supervisor, Mark Ellis. This guy with sleeves rolled up like he's ready for a fight, arms crossed, looking at me like I was the problem, not the system that let folks like him play gatekeeper based on who looks premium. He doesn't even glance at my ticket, just echoes her line. "Operational needs aren't up for debate. Make this easy and take the new seat." I could feel the heat rising in my chest, that deep-seated frustration from years of being overlooked, undervalued, because of my skin, my gender, my everything. But I channeled it, pulled out a small notebook from my bag, and started jotting down details. Date, time, their names, the exact words, operational needs. Mark bristles, snapping, "Notes won't change a thing. Comply, or we'll deny boarding." And I look him dead in the eye, voice steady. "If you're denying me, document it under your name, or scan my ticket." He laughs it off, a short bark, but I see the flicker run certain to be Co's deep down. Guys like him thrive on unchallenged power, the kind rooted in community whispers and HOA-style territorialism, where premium means keeping certain folks out to protect their little fiefdoms. The crowd's growing now, phones out everywhere, live streams kicking off with comments flying. This is straight-up bias. Keep recording. She's too calm for this to end quietly. A businessman pipes up. "If it were me, you'd scan it, no questions." And Sarah shoots him this glare. But it's too late. The tension's electric, like a storm brewing. Mark radios for security, his voice tight. "We need backup at D9. Thinking that'll scare me off, but I just stand there, notebook in hand, thinking about all the times I'd audited airlines like Sky High, spotting patterns of discrimination hidden in policy, driven by execs who feared losing control over who gets the perks, who belongs in the front. Security shows up, two guards looking uneasy at the sea of cameras, hesitating because even they sense this isn't just a rowdy passenger, it's something bigger, a clash of dignity versus entitlement. And then, in that charged moment, I reach into my blazer, pull out my wallet, and place my badge on the counter, gold letters shining. Federal Transportation Auditor. The gasp from the crowd hits like a wave. Sarah stumbles back, mumbling, I didn't know." And Mark's face drains of color, sputtering, "You should have said something sooner." But I don't bite. I just pick up my phone, dial my office, and say evenly, "This is Harper, auditor on assignment. Logging incident at D9. Unjust reassignment. Documentation refused. Security threatened without cause. Escalate." 30 seconds, that's all it took. But in those seconds, The world flipped live stream views exploding to millions, sky highs, stock tanking 10% in an hour as news hits. Their $4 billion merger with a European partner crumbling because who wants to tie up with a company caught red-handed in bias? All stemming from frontline arrogance that mirrored deeper corporate rot, where profits trumped fairness. The fallout was brutal, headquarters scrambling. Execs in boardrooms watching clips of Sarah's sneer, Mark's bluster, realizing this wasn't PR spin. It was federal scrutiny that could yank billions in contracts. By evening, stocks down another 8%, total wipeout nearing $6 billion, regulators announcing probes, and passengers everywhere sharing stories of similar slights, turning one gate into a movement. Sarah and Mark? Fired within days, their names splashed across headlines as symbols of a toxic culture, one where personal insecurities may be Sarah's resentment from years of dealing with entitled flyers, or Mark's need to flex authority in a dead-end job-fueled decisions that cost everyone. Hearings dragged them in, Sarah fumbling excuses, it was just policy, but senators firing back, policy or prejudice? And me? I stayed quiet publicly, letting the truth do the work, watching as the Harper directive rolled out. No more shady reassignments without logs, audits, fines up to $5 million a pop. But here's where it gets real. Justice felt good, sure, but empty without grace. Months later, at a DOT event, I finally spoke, not to gloat, but to share a letter from a former attendant. I knew it was wrong but stayed silent. Now I'll teach others better. I launched the Dignity Initiative, training ex-employees like Sarah to lead workshops on empathy over ego, turning fallout into growth. Some called it too soft, others revolutionary, but it sparked debates. Is forgiveness weakness or strength? As I boarded my next flight, ticket scanned smoothly, attendant smiling genuine, I wondered if we'd truly changed or if old grudges linger, waiting for the next gate. What do you think? Was I right to offer that second chance? Or should accountability sting harder? Drop a comment below, share your own airport nightmare or community clash, and let's talk about what real justice looks like in a world full of invisible walls. Hit subscribe if stories like this hit home. We all in this together.